Our News is brought to you by Alive.
Believe in best.
Coming up tonight on Our News, the new F&M leader outlines his plans. Meanwhile, global health officials urge continued vigilance in the fight against COVID-19, and a ban finds new meaning during the pandemic. Welcome to Our News, and thanks for joining us. I'm Jared Higgs. Topping news tonight, now that he has been elected leader of the Free National Movement, Michael Pintard says he has a number of things to get done. At the top of that list is ensuring every voice is heard and the people's wishes are represented. Kyle Joaquin has the story.
With the party's convention now behind him, F&M leader Michael Pintard says he has a lot of work ahead of him.
We intend to move throughout the Family Islands, every constituency, talking to F&Ms who stayed at home, those that have felt marginalized, and to hear what their concerns are and to respond to them. Secondly, we intend to convene a conclave immediately after the February convention to make sure that we're able to share the post-mortem so that we can go beyond the anecdotal evidence that we have in terms of what went wrong. We are going to commission the studies to be done, which would be ready in time for February. We'll discuss that post-mortem.
But he said after a crushing defeat at the polls and a lot of contention surrounding the issue of leadership, there is obvious healing that needs to take place within the party.
There's a need for healing after this contest, healing after the election, and so we're going to facilitate workshops so that those members of our organization who need really to be healed can come together. We believe that this is a human business.
While unifying the party is at the top of his list, Pintard says the needs of the people are a priority as well.
Members of our team are functioning as a cohesive body. We are going to do the work that we have historically done as F&Ms in the various constituencies. And so one of the things we are going to do is really talk about the things that are important to Bahamians. Education, making sure that they have access to education from preschool to university. Secondly, addressing the immigration issue in a way that we do not disenfranchise Bahamians, but at the same time, we have a human approach to dealing with others that have violated our sovereignty. To deal with the energy question. Right now as we speak, many Bahamians' light or water is off. We have to remedy those things.
Pintard was elected leader of the party 3-1 yesterday. He said he's focused on ensuring the wants and needs of the Bahamian people is priority.
I feel hopeful. I feel that those challenges that many of our supporters face, we're going to have a chance as a group to address those challenges. And again, our supporters need to know that there are persons who are fighting for them when they are being discriminated against. And I intend to stand in the gap along with our team to stand in the gap for them. And I'm hopeful for the country because I believe Bahamians want effective representation in the House and not just from the government side.
Now, as for the party's team of senators, which goes based on the appointment of opposition leader, which will be Pintard, the F&M leader was mum on what he'll do.
I have no comments on the senatorial appointments. We're going to have a discussion as a family, and then we'll address that issue publicly.
For Our News, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
As more and more countries issue travel restrictions for those traveling from countries like South Africa amid the emergence of a new COVID-19 variant, former Health Minister Renward Wells says the proof will be in the pudding when the Davis administration has to show how it handles a wave of cases. Wells said the Minister administration did a fantastic job with the 3 waves of cases it went through, but with no curfew and the loosening of restrictions, he wants to see how the new government handles it.
We see increasing cases in the United States, almost 100,000 cases a day now, again in the U.S., even in the vaccinated environment. And so it's going to be interesting to see what happens in this open environment that we now have in the country with no curfews So we're going to see whether the proof of the pudding is in the eating, like I said. And hopefully, I'm hoping and praying that we do not go through a 4th wave, but it looks like that may be coming.
On Friday, Deputy Prime Minister Chester Cooper said the government will adjust its restrictions as needed, but that there is no need to have everything closed and people at home starving.
We left in place very defined programs and plans as to how you address COVID outside of having a vaccine and having a vaccine. And all the things that we said was based on the science, and the Bahamian people can see that we did a fantastic job in all three of those waves. Like I said back in July, I told the Bahamian people during the height of the third wave, I said by the end of August the numbers would come down in Grand Bahama, and by the end of September the numbers would come down overall in the country, and that's exactly what took place based on the fact that we knew that our vaccination campaign was going to yield that kind of results.
Police are investigating a murder that took place on Eleuthera on Sunday morning. According to reports, it was shortly after 2 a.m. when officers discovered the body of a man with gunshot wounds in the street in Three Island Road. The local doctor pronounced the man dead. Meanwhile, police in New Providence are investigating a shooting incident that has left the man hospitalized. Police say the man was arguing with another man around 1 p.m. yesterday. When that man produced a firearm and discharged the weapon in his direction, that man fled on foot. The injured man was taken to hospital via private vehicle, where his condition is listed as serious.
It's beginning to look and feel a lot like Christmas, but health officials are warning members of the public to remember we're still in the midst of a pandemic. Christina Dragovich tells us more.
Let's be sure about this. The virus is not taking a holiday, and neither can we.
Pan American Health Organization Director Dr. Carissa Etienne using her weekly press briefing to warn member countries that COVID-19 remains a serious risk during the holidays. Some countries in the region, including the Bahamas, are seeing steep declines in COVID-19 cases, while others have seen a sharp uptick in new cases. Dr. Etienne warns people to remain vigilant with public health measures to avoid becoming a statistic.
The smartest thing you can do now is to get your COVID-19 vaccine as soon as you are eligible and when it is available in your country.
More than 143,000 people in the Bahamas are fully vaccinated against COVID-19. The World Health Organization has encouraged all countries to aim for 40% vaccination by the end of the year.
Being vaccinated is not a reason to be complacent and to give up on other measures. What we found out is that there is no magic bullet per se to stop COVID-19. So we ask people to do it all, do everything that you need to do. Get vaccinated, wear a mask in public places, and where physical distances cannot be maintained in indoor places with poor ventilation, protect yourself.
More than 5 million people around the world have died from COVID-19. Dr. Etienne says a combination of vaccination and public and social health measures can go a long way in keeping the holidays safer this year. Reporting for our news, I'm Christina Dragovich.
More than 50% of the University of the Bahamas population is fully vaccinated against COVID-19, according to Vice President of Academic Affairs, Dr. Maria Woodside Orica. Orica says as the university makes preparations for the spring semester, COVID testing or proof of vaccination remains a part of the university's policies.
The university in September of this year put in a COVID-19 vaccination policy. The policy states that either a person is to be fully vaccinated or our students or staff can take advantage of free COVID testing that is delivered on campus on Mondays and Thursday in the morning hours.
Those students and faculty members who are not fully vaccinated are required to present a negative COVID-19 test before getting access to the university campus. This as UB prepares to roll out 4 learning modalities to adapt to the changing COVID environment and relax restrictions. This spring, Oriaki says some classes will be hybrid while others may be face-to-face.
Small classes, that is classes with 15 or less students, may be permitted to come on campus. And if there are still students who are fearful or who do not wish to be out in the COVID environment, the technology exists in the class where the faculty and some students are in the classroom, but there are also people online learning as well. And
other classes will fall into one of 4 categories: UB face-to-face, UB flex, UB online, or UB real-time.
Learning takes place using a learning management system. Some virtual teaching technology is in use, and classes are taking place online. Then we have the UB Flex model. The UB Flex model incorporates both synchronous and asynchronous learning. There are some real-time classes. I am extremely confident that given that with these models being in existence for more than 1 year, that they are working and they are assisting our students and facilitating learning at the university.
There are just under 4,500 students enrolled at UB, a figure that is slightly down compared to pre-pandemic enrollment. The entertainment industry is making a slow rebound despite the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. Fusion Superplex has reopened its restaurants and theaters in hopes of helping people get back to some sort of normalcy. Kyle Joaquin has a story.
Things are picking up. The return to market response has been very good. We're very appreciative to the public for giving us an opportunity to serve them, giving us an opportunity to provide them with great customer service, great quality products, great food, great drinks, and an overall great atmosphere.
Fusion's food and beverage director, Javari Southard, says the company owes it all to its patrons. After being closed for months, movie theaters are back open, and dining, both indoor and outdoor, has resumed. And with curfew now gone, it means longer business hours.
So Altitude now is open until 10 p.m. So we fortunately have been given the opportunity to operate longer, so we're very appreciative for that. Edge now is open until 12 midnight, so it gives that restaurant an opportunity to open later as well. It gives us an opportunity to maximize on the revenue and gives our patrons extra time to enjoy the offerings that we have.
With the holiday season upon us, Southern says people are eager to return to some of their favorite Christmas events.
People are eager, and we're eager to have them. We know that they want to have a place where they can come and feel safe, a place to enjoy great quality products, and we're happy to be able to provide that.
Fusion Chief Operating Officer Jamil Clark says the industry is finally getting back to normal, and it appears patrons were missing it as well.
We are thankful to have the hours now rolled out. It's less rigid with the all aspect of COVID or those controls. That represents an opportunity for us to regain, rebound our business, and get back to business as usual. So we're really excited about what that represents to us.
For Our News, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
Still to come on Our News, government set to train 100 lifeguards, and a ban finds new meaning during the pandemic. That's coming up when Our News returns.
'Twas the night before Christmas, but down on the beach, Santa was worried, his sleigh out of reach. To make sure this Christmas did not end up tragic, he must call the elves to bring some real magic. They laughed and they said, it's not all about business. This year we've decided to deliver more Christmas. With giveaways 31 days in a row, we'll fill up your stockings with prizes and dough. Then Santa kicked back, he relaxed as he knew. Rev delivers real magic and more Christmas to you.
There's a shortage of lifeguards in the country, according to Tourism and Investments Minister Chester Cooper. The issue is one being seen on public beaches across the country, leaving government a bit concerned for the safety of locals and visitors.
We know when we visit the private islands of cruise ships, when we talk with investors, one of the things they complain about is that they cannot find lifeguards in the country. So we're going to be spearheading a training initiative beginning hopefully with at least 100 new recruits in our lifeguard program to ensure that when we talk with investors, whether it's the cruise lines or whether it's a hotel, we no longer need to grant work permits for persons from around the world to come to watch our beaches and make sure that our guests are safe.
Cooper did not say how many work permits are granted per year for foreign lifeguards, but he did say government would like to see more Bahamians fill those roles when foreign investors ask. He said more details on the training program will come shortly.
So we're going to take this matter into our own hands. This is an opportunity for young people across the country, and therefore this is something that Junkanoo Beach will benefit from, but all of the other beaches and parks under the mission and the mandate of Mr. Bonamy. So this is something moving forward you'll hear more about. My colleagues and team at the Ministry of Tourism is already on the case, and we anticipate that over time for our public beaches you will also see the presence of more lifeguards as we train more moving forward into the future.
If you shopped at one of the local supermarkets over the last year, chances are you've heard the melodious tunes of the Curbside Rockers. The three-man band was formed in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic. Jasmine Brown has their inspiring story in this report.
Singer Leo Jones, Steel Pan Man Vince Thompson, and Rake and Scrape extraordinaire James Pratt make up the band Curbside Rockers. The three-man band has become a staple outside local stores across the island. While their music is enjoyed by scores of people, not many are aware of how the band came to be, forming at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic last November.
We used to play separately in the hotels and stuff, so when the pandemic came around, there was nothing for us to do.
Before the pandemic, the men were all entertainers at local hotels. But after the tourism industry was crippled by the COVID-19 pandemic, they had to think of a plan B.
It wasn't no tourists, so it was nothing. So we was really, hungry for something to do. And we just came up with the idea, maybe we should go play. Where are people? Where are people? People always at the food store. So we targeted there and started asking for permission for different food stores until we got so popular to the point where, when we pull up at a certain food store, they already know who we are.
Jones says playing for tips is how they came to make a living for much of the pandemic.
Sure, we could play for tips, and we honestly was making a good salary off playing for the food store because people was bored. They loved to see, all right, well, the music's still going on, the entertainment's still going, and we got a lot of support from the Bahamian people, and the Bahamian people was the source of our band. That's what created us.
While they still get curbside gigs like a Black Friday job at the Southwest Plaza, the band has also resumed work at local hotels. But Jones says the pandemic has taught them to be flexible.
We play all around. We're not really tied down to no one, and that's a good thing for us because we basically control our own destiny right now.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
When Our News comes back from the break, New Horizon donates to Great Commission Ministries. And the young mother does her part to give back. We have the details when Our News returns.
'Twas the night before Christmas, but down on the beach, Santa was worried, his sleigh out of reach. To make sure this Christmas did not end up tragic, he must call the elves to bring some real magic. They laughed and they said it's not all about business. This year we've decided to deliver more Christmas. With giveaways 31 days in a row, we'll fill up your stockings with prizes and dough. Then Santa kicked back, he relaxed as he knew. Rev delivers real magic and more Christmas to you.
Boxes of groceries and canned good items were donated to Great Commission Ministries courtesy of the students of New Horizon Academy and New Horizon Christian School. School director Chanel McPhee said it was important for the children to help others this holiday season.
We know that there's a great need even more with COVID-19 inside of our nation and worldwide. So we came together as both schools came together to raise all of these canned good donations for the community. And it's kind of a little personal for me because I grew up in Baintown and Grantstown, so it's like coming back to my community and actually giving back.
It took both schools about 3 weeks to collect all the goods to donate, according to McPhee, who added that this will be an ongoing initiative.
It's an ongoing initiative that we do. We actually find other different feeding networks to actually work along with. So we chose Bishop Hanchel, knowing the status of him and the great work he's been doing in this community. So we wanted to assist him in this move.
Along with serving hot meals to those in need weekly, Great Commission also distributes groceries and clothing. Operations Manager Maxine Bethel thanked the school and said the donation will go a long way.
On behalf of Bishop Walter Hanchel and the Board of Direction, we want to thank the New Horizon Academy for thinking about us. Okay, we pray that God will continue to bless your school, the students, and everybody. It's very crucial because right now with the pandemic and everything, persons that was donating now, they became clients. Okay, and what we do is we serve about 400 plus a day, Monday through Friday. That includes the sick and shut-in.
A young mother is giving back to other young parents in need. Ashlyn Farrington is a mother of one who saw too many young parents without the support they needed to provide for their children.
Through my pregnancy, I went through some rough times, and I know what it feels like to not have certain things. So I vowed, me and her dad, that we would give back. We wanted to start a foundation to give back to single mothers and fathers in need.
Her daughter, Hope, is now her inspiration and the name behind Hope for Our Future. Farrington says social media has helped the nonprofit to find and help those in need during pregnancy and the early days of parenthood.
We have single mothers and fathers that reach out to us. We help mothers with preparing for birth, such as preparing hospital bags. We provide case of Pampers, formula, baby food, socks, hats, etc., everything.
The organization has had such an impact so far that it has encouraged giveaway recipients to pay it forward.
People that we actually helped, some of them turned around when they were able to, and they actually gave back. They donated items for one of our giveaways, and that was awesome because we helped them and then they turned around and helped us back again to help other people. So that's awesome.
But there's still more work to be done. Farrington says anyone interested in lending a hand to the nonprofit can send a message to Hope for Our Future on Facebook. And stay with us as we recap the most captivating sound bites with our news quote of the week. So stay with us.
'Twas the night before Christmas, but down on the beach, Santa was worried, his sleigh out of reach. To make sure this Christmas did not end up tragic, he must call the elves to bring some real magic. They laughed and they said it's not all about business. This year we've decided to deliver more Christmas. With giveaways 31 days in a row, we'll fill up your stockings with prizes and dough. Then Santa kicked back, he relaxed as he knew. Rev delivers real magic and more Christmas to you.
Welcome back. It's time now for your quote of the week. Coming in at number 3, overjoyed straw vendors return to their livelihood this week with the straw market reopened after more than a year and a half. Vendor Lisa Roll said she caught COVID-19 while pregnant and had to overcome that challenge too.
It was ridiculous, but I made it through. I'm from Exuma, so I cooked up my bush medicine and I doctored myself, and I made it through. Sorosy, Alavis, I did it, you know? So I made it through, thank God.
Coming in at number 2, another twist in the tragic story of the killing of 4-year-old Bella Walker as her relatives dispute who should get to bury her body. A full hearing will be held on Monday at 3 p.m. before a Supreme Court judge to decide whether her body should remain with her father, Dino Smith, or be handed over to her maternal grandmother, who says she's acting on behalf of Bella's currently jailed mother.
I think your mother would have turned your back on you no matter what you did because you're still a child. You have to face your own, but at the end of the day, that's my daughter. 10 years from now, when all of you in here forget about this, do you know I still have to tell people that my granddaughter died?
And your quote of the week comes from newly elected F&M leader Michael Pintard. The Marco City MP says his goal is to unite the party.
Truth is, sometimes we didn't listen to you the way we ought to. Sometimes we forgot that we are your servants. We work for you. That we have temporary jobs. And so we needed to exercise collectively, no one person, no two person, collectively we needed to demonstrate humility that comes from a servant heart. We're calling on our sister, Loretta Butler Turner. We want you to know the tent is open, feel free to join us. Hubert Chipman, Richard.
Thank you for joining us for our news, the weekend edition. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Jared Higgs. Have a beautiful evening, Bahamas.